Now next unit, means topic is how to measure length. Alright. Now length we can measure either directly or indirectly. Okay. And not only that, we can measure small length also and we can measure bigger length also. So first is the direct method. Alright. Direct method, directly you can measure the smaller length by using these three apparatus, you know already: vernier caliper, screw gauge and spherometer. Spherometer and screw gauge, they are almost same, identical, and when you will do the practical, that time as spherometer in details, I will show the apparatus, I will tell you also how to do the experiment. Just remember that for vernier caliper, you know what is the least count of all these apparatus. Least count is the smallest measurable quantity by that particular apparatus is known as least count. For vernier caliper, the formula for least count is value of one main scale division by total number of division in vernier scale, because you know in vernier scale, vernier caliper, there are two scale. One is known as the main scale, another is known as the vernier scale. In details you have done in 9th standard. The next one is screw gauge. Screw gauge also, you know, there are two scales. One is the linear scale, another is the circular scale, and least count means the smallest measurable length by using a screw gauge is known as the least count. And what is the formula for least count? Pitch divided by total number of division in circular scale. And what is pitch? Pitch is the linear distance travelled by the edge of the circular EDGE, edge of the circular scale due to one complete rotation. Then next is coming spherometer. Spherometer and screw gauge is identical. That's why you see the formula for its least count also is same as that of screw gauge. Least count is given by pitch divided by total number of division in circular scale. I have written the small means abbreviations as MSD, VS. Okay, MSD means main scale division, VS is the vernier scale, CS is the circular scale. So I think it is means it is advised that you write down the full form while copying, while noting it down in your notebook. So next one is indirect method. Now there are several indirect methods. The first method is known as the reflection or echo method. That also in 10th standard you studied. Means what is done? One original wave is sent. The wave, when it is sending, we just note down the time when it is sending. Then it moves and then it just strike the reflector. Okay, and then it reflect back, and the reflected sound, reflected wave, not sound, I should say wave, reflected wave is received, and the time at which the original wave is sent and reflected wave is received, that time gap is measured. Alright. So you see here, if you consider the distance between the source of the wave and the reflector is d, then you can write down the velocity of the wave is 2d by t. So what is the distance? V into t by 2. Okay, so here the reflected sound, when it is sound we get it back, then we said it as echo. When we get the reflected sound separately from the original sound, and when the original sound has ceased and we get the reflected sound, then that is known as echo. Alright, all these things you 10th standard you studied. So that's why this method is known as the echo method or reflection method. Now there are three devices we generally use, and the three method radar, sonar and laser. Now radar, what is the full form? Radio detection and ranging. And in case of radar, radio waves are used. You send the radio wave, alright, and you know by using the radar, by using the method of radar, one can detect the height of any flying object, alright, or can detect also the flying object. And at which height the flying object, may be a spying aeroplane, maybe any spacecraft, anything you want to find out the height of a flying object, then we use the radar method. Alright, from the ground we send the radio wave up, and the radio wave just strike the means object whose height we want to measure, and then it gets reflected and the reflected wave is received. Alright, and then the time gap is measured, then we use the formula. What is the height of the flying object? It is given by c into t by 2. Alright, radio wave, it moves with a velocity equal to the speed of light in air or vacuum. Okay, that's why I have used the formula S is equal to c into t by 2. Now come to sonar. For sonar, the full form is sound navigation and ranging, and for sonar we use ultrasonic wave, and sonar is used to find out the depth of any object underwater. Alright, I repeat, radar is used to find out the height of any object in air, means flying object, but sonar it is used to find out the depth of any object inside water. Alright, so you see in this case of radar we use radio wave, but sonar we use ultrasonic waves. And that's why the formula I have written S is equal to V into T by 2, because the speed of ultrasonic wave is not ultrasonic wave also you can write it as C only. Ultrasonic wave you can write that S is equal to V into T by 2, and V is the speed of the ultrasonic wave. Then next one is laser. Laser, the full form is light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Now laser beam is used to find out the why laser beam is used? Because laser is unidirectional, it can carry a very high amount of energy, and it is monochromatic. Alright, means wavelength is single wavelength. That's why laser is prevalent. By using the laser beam you can find out what is the distance of moon from earth. Okay, so in this case you see again we use the same formula, because we are using the echo method, and for echo method distance is given by speed into time divided by 2. So here you see again you can use the same formula, S is equal to C into T by 2, where C is equal to 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. So this is the way you must note down all the important points related with this topic. Next method of measuring length, means bigger length, is known as the triangulation method. Alright, means what? We just try to form a triangle. Okay, now in which cases we use this one to find out the height of a tower. Suppose the tower is very very long, then in that case how to measure the height of the tower without going to the top of the tower with the scale or with a measuring tape? You cannot do, no. So in this case we use, suppose you consider AB is the height of the tower, AB is the tower. Now how we will do? From certain distance of the tower you stand there and find out the angle of elevation of the top of the tower. Means at the point P you are standing, then if you look at the top of the tower PB, then this theta is known as the angle of elevation. Now you know what is the distance of you from the tower. Means this distance you can measure, x is the distance which you can measure experimentally, and theta also you can measure experimentally. Now you have to find out h. Very simple, just use the simple trigonometry. Tan theta is h by x. So what will be h? H is equal to x into tan theta. So measuring x and theta by using this formula, one can find out what is the height of the tower. But sometimes it happens the tower is not accessible. Alright, suppose in between tower and you there is a river, there is a forest, dense forest, you cannot go there. Alright, in that case what you will do? You will use this method. Means you choose two positions, alright, on the same line of the tower, and from that two position you find out what are the angle of elevations. Alright, now you see, suppose you are standing here at the point P and you are standing at the point Q, you change your position. Now how much you have changed the position, that x PQ you can measure. Alright, now at the two position P and Q, find out what is the angle of elevation, theta 1 and theta 2. Then by simple mathematics you can find out what is the height of the tower. So what is the simple mathematics? Just follow. If you consider the triangle ABP, in triangle ABP, h by PB is equal to tan theta 1. So you see PB will be h by tan theta 1. Now 1 by tan theta 1 is cot theta 1. So you can write PB is equal to h cot theta 1. Then come to the bigger triangle ABQ. In ABQ, H by BQ is equal to tan theta 2. So what will be BQ? BQ will be H by tan theta 2. Now H by tan theta 2 is equal to H cot theta 2. Alright. Now you see, we know what is X. So X you can write, X is equal to PQ, and PQ one can write it as BQ minus PB. So BQ is how much? H cot theta 2, and PB is how much? H cot theta 1. So I have taken H common. So you can take it as, write it as H into cot theta 2 minus cot theta 1. So what will be H? The height of the tower, X divided by cot theta 2 minus cot theta 1. So if you know experimentally what are the values of theta 1, theta 2 and X, then by putting the known values in this formula, you can find out what is the height of the tower. And second formula, H by X, H equal to X by cot theta 2 minus cot theta 1, when the tower is not accessible directly. In that case, we use that. Next is measurement of size of astronomical objects. So let us consider, you want to find out what is the size of the moon. Alright, size of the moon you can specify by just by finding the diameter of the moon. So that's why what is done, suppose this is Earth's surface and you have chosen at the point P on the Earth's surface. From the point P, you focus the moon by a telescope. Alright. Then you will see on the screen of the telescope, it will appear like a disc. Okay. Then you find out what is the angle subtended by the diameter at the point P. So look at this one. This is the diameter. So if you join the ends of the diameter to the point P, then it is subtending the angle theta. That angle you measure. Okay. And then you see, if you know what is the distance of the moon from the Earth's surface, if it is S, then D will be, diameter of the moon will be given by S into theta. It is coming from this, just you see, if you consider diameter of the moon, it is nothing but the arc. Alright, then you see this is theta and here this distance is nothing but the radius. So what is coming? D is equal to S into theta. Can you remember? It comes from the definition of the angle. Radian also we have used this one. Concept of angle is coming from this one. So you can apply the same here. And what will be the diameter of the moon then? Diameter of the moon will be S into theta. S is distance of moon from Earth, and theta is the angle subtended by the diameter of the moon at your telescope. Now next, important, very important, indirect, and the last indirect method that I will discuss is the parallax method. Alright. Now what is the meaning of parallax? Parallax means it is the difference between the apparent positions of an object when viewed along two different lines of sight. Alright. Just you consider when you look at any star which are not very distant from us. Alright. Then you will observe that the position of the star when viewed from the same position on Earth, it changes. Alright. So there is a change in the apparent position of the body or apparent position of the object when you are viewing the same object from two different line of sight. That is known as parallax. And just you consider this one. Consider this example. Then you will understand it better way. This is the Earth's orbit. Alright. Now, you are at this position on Earth, means this is the position of Earth on 22nd June, and then the Earth will complete this half rotation and it will come just diametrically opposite side at 22nd December. Alright. Now what you are doing when the Earth is at this position, then you focus a telescope at a distant star as well as to a nearest star. Alright, means you are focusing actually two stars. One is very distant and one is much closer to us. Okay, and then you measure this angle. It is the angle of sight. Then you see from this diagram it is clear. If you consider this angle is phi 2, then if I draw a line here, this angle will be phi 2 because these two are the alternate angle. Now what you have done, you have measured, you have just focused the distant star N and the nearest star S on 22nd June. Then you focus the same two star on 22nd December. then actually where you are with respect to the Earth's orbit, you are diametrically opposite to Earth's orbit. Then you see what is happening here. The apparent position of N is changing. So in this case, when you are measuring the angle subtended between the two stars, you are getting the angle phi 1 here. So if this is phi 1, again these two angles are alternate angles. So this is also phi 1. So you see what is the total angle subtended when you are changing the line of sight. This is phi. So this phi is known as the parallax angle. Alright. And from the diagram it is clear that phi is equal to phi 1 plus phi 2. So you see, now if you apply the simple geometry, again that concept of S is equal to r theta. If I consider this distance, means SA and SB as r, or radius of the circle, then you see AB, means this I have denoted it by small b. It will be taken as an arc. So this is AB is an arc and S is the radius and phi is the angle at the center. So you can write phi will be equal to AB by S. So what is S? S is equal to B by phi. B is the distance between the two positions or two different line of sight. So this is known as the parallax method. In parallax method, these are the important point I have summarized for your preparation for the board exam, as well as with this diagram. This diagram also you have to refer. So this is the way in means point wise you can note down what are the important points related with the parallax method. Thank you girls.